wishing to contribute to the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2021, I call upon the mover to reply. The Honorable Gladys Wanga. Yes, here's the mic next to you.
This is working. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I'd like to really thank the honorable members of this House for their contribution, very vibrant contribution to this debate on the Finance Bill of 2020, Finance Bill 2021, which will help in raising revenue for our budget for 2021-2022. Honorable Speaker, members have confirmed or affirmed their position as defenders of the people who elected us to come and serve them on the floor of this House. And Honorable Speaker, member after member speaking has spoken for the very lowest of the people in our society, whom we have come here to represent. And Honorable Speaker, I take that with a lot of gratitude, because many times it is thought that members of parliament do not speak for the people who elected them to come to this House. Sometimes we are perceived, or a perception is created, that we are serving selfish interests or interests other than of those electorate who elected us. But if you listened to members of this House speak on this finance bill, nobody spoke about do not tax the MP or do not tax the very high. Everybody spoke about let us try and tax the people who have and fund the very lowest in society. So, Honorable Speaker, that is the spirit of this Parliament, and it is important that it is understood across board. I also want to thank the National Treasury, because this finance bill, if you look at it, is a very conservative bill. It has not sought drastic measures, taxation measures, to hurt the people too much. So there are only a few areas where it touched on the common 190, but if you look at the entire bill, it doesn't seek to raise that much in terms of revenue. Actually, any revenue it raises is knocked off by exemptions that it has given to medicaments, medicines, vitamins, ventilators, and so on. There's a whole long list of exemptions that has been given, and that knocks off a lot of the revenue, or any revenue that is being raised. But what is good about this bill is streamlining tax administration, because there comes a point in time where even if you try to squeeze people some more, it's like squeezing water out of a rock. But then you can look at the loose ends that you can tie up, the loopholes that you can seal to make sure that you do not lose revenue that you could already have been collecting in the existing time. So, Honorable Speaker, this bill tries to do a lot of the tying up of tax administration, and tax procedures, so that KRA does not lose revenue that it would otherwise have been able to collect. And if they continue to put pressure, the target for revenue in this coming financial year is 2.1 trillion. If KRA gets the support that they require, they should be able to surpass even that target of 2.1 trillion and collect a lot more. But members have spoken here to cutting our quota according to our size, and also sealing loopholes for corruption. Because however much money you collect, if you do not spend it prudently, then at the end of the day, it's like just pouring water on a dry crack, and it never really fills up. So I think on the other end, there must be a way of dealing with issues of corruption and spending our money in the most efficient way. Members have spoken strongly, specifically about bread, about flour, about the things that really, the motorcycles, and I just wanted to clarify that the motorcycle Treasury was trying to move from charging in actual figures, because there's an actual figure of 11,000. So right now, even if you buy a motorcycle for 70,000, you still pay 11,000. Even if you buy a motorcycle for what, you still pay that standard amount. So Treasury was trying to move to a percentage so that it depends on the value of the motorcycle that you buy. Now, what happened to this proposal? It was convoluted, you know, and the reporting has been such that it is understood that there is an additional tax being put on motorcycles. Now, to clean that up is very difficult because the public perception is already that there is an additional tax. So if you try and explain that, no, it's not an additional tax, it's only changing from percentage to, changing from actual absolute figures to a percentage, people will not understand that. And vendors can take advantage of motorcycle buyers. As soon as this finance bill passes, if a vendor increases the price, they'll just say, serikali imeweka, you have been taxed more by the government, and they take advantage. And that is why the committee took a position that let's retain status quo until the matter can be properly explained, so that once it is understood, then now you can proceed. Because if you proceed and the matter is not properly explained, then now you have a problem. But members of this House have been in full support of that particular position. The committee made some proposals around the issue of reducing the number of interns. But we've listened to the, these TVET interns. The bill proposes it at 10 interns for you to qualify for the tax rebate. The committee was trying to propose it to 5 so that we can cover also MSMEs. But members have spoken and said that maybe we retain it at 10 so that we can have more people absorbed rather than having less. Because if you put the minimum at 5, even big companies that can otherwise take 15 or 20 will still just take the 5 and still qualify for the tax rebate. So the committee will consider that particular amendment and probably reverse it, as proposed by several of the members, because the proposal of the members actually carries some logic. Honorable Speaker, I have listened also to the Honorable Majority Leader. He has spoken to the issue of investment deductions or incentives for those who invest outside Mombasa and Nairobi. We set a figure of 10 billion, but from what the Majority Leader has said, it actually makes sense to reduce it so that we have investors. We want investors in Kibwezi, we want investors in Homa Bay, we want investors, to go to Ainabkoi or to Nandi Hills, We want investors across the country, not for them to just come and concentrate here in Nairobi, and we want to incentivize them so that they move across the country. So perhaps the figure that we had been putting was a bit high, and we will look at reversing it downwards. Honorable Speaker, maybe in concluded, I'd like to state that I've seen a lot of proposals for amendments as well. And members also spoke strongly about things like LPG, other items. And we might want to zero rate everything. But as I was beginning to move, I said that we are in difficult times. We must strike a balance between raising revenue and cushioning Kenyans. So I want to just urge members that even as we go to the committee stage, that we agree to make compromises, so that where we can, we carry, but where we cannot, we also leave to fight another day. So that we don't try also and make so many items, zero-rated, just so that we look like good people. But the next day when we are asking for money for CDF or to be facilitated or salaries for teachers or other things, then government grinds to a halt because we are not able to raise the revenue. So that's the only plea that I would make to members, that even as we bring amendments, we remain reasonable so that we can carry some. The committee is open to look at, other amendments, but within the space, the fiscal framework, so that we do not create a hole that we cannot fill. So, Honorable Speaker, I was trying to reply until the end of the the end of the session, so that we don't have to move to the next item. But I think I have replied to the very end. I think I've replied to the very end. Maybe I'll use the 1 minute to thank the members who have stayed for this long, who have endured until this hour. There are members who've been here the whole afternoon and the whole night. So I really, really must thank you for enduring and staying this long, serving your country, serving your nation, serving the people who elected you, and to thank the members of the Finance and National Planning Committee for their commitment to this matter. With those many, many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to reply.
Very well, and congratulations, Honorable Wanga, the chairperson, the Departmental Committee of Finance and Planning, National Planning, for the good work. Well done. Again, we also want to thank the members who have stayed here. The public now would appreciate the honorable members, their representatives sitting and doing